Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica. Hopefully.
Hopefully, still. So we are going to do another episode of our Convincing My Bestie to Read. And this time it is time for me to convince Mandy to read something. So today we are going to be reading my darkest romance wrecks. So these are my favorite dark romance wrecks.
Okay, this I can do.
This you can do.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I say
I'm here for this.
yes. And just keep in mind, guys, that dark is subjective. And what I find dark, you might find a little gray or vice versa. I have read a few darker than this, but these are the ones that I loved that were dark. So obviously check trigger warnings for all of these books, all of them. So I have 6 for you. But before we get started with that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway. We are still giving away free books and some other fun things after we hit that 750, which is our next level. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, especially between that 750 and 1,000. We've got some really fun things planned. So, okay. Are you
Follow
ready?
us on Instagram for an extra entry too.
That too. I forget that all the time. But do that. All that's linked below. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Got my pen and everything.
These aren't in any particular order. They're all pretty damn dark. So, I can't give you a lighter to a darker. So sorry. Okay. So the first book that I have is The Counselor by Celia Aaron. She also has another one, if you guys are into dark, that I'm not going to talk about today, which is her Cloister series. It starts with The Maiden. Read that one. It's really good too. It's one of my favorites. But I only want to pick one Celia Aaron. So this takes place in Louisiana. This is about our heroine. Her name is Stella, and her dad is going to jail. Like, he's going to trial and he's going to go to jail. And I think it was for like embezzlement or something, not minor, but he didn't kill anybody. Let's put it that way. And Sinclair is the district attorney for their area. And he wants Stella. He comes to Stella and he says, I will get your dad out of this situation if you give yourself to me for a year. What Stella and those guys don't realize is because he's in the social elite in this little backwater area in Louisiana, they have this thing that they call, I can't remember what they call it. It is called the acquisition. And this is where the elite families, there's so many of them, are vying for the lead spot. They're competing for the lead spot to rule over all these upper class families. And they have this competition every so many years, and there's consequences to things that happen. And each one of them, whoever's in the running to be the leader, has to have an acquisition who will play these games for them or enter into these contests basically for them. These are not fun. These are things they're forced to do. They've got dire consequences. Nobody is going to want to do that. But he forces Stella to be his acquisition for this contest. And things go from there. This book gave me anxiety. Like, this is a trilogy. There's 3 books total. But it gave me anxiety because I was like, how are they going to get out of that? How is she going to get out of that? He's not going to make her do that. I can't. What? It was good. Like, it still gives me anxiety just thinking about it. So, book number 1. Okay. Then, book number 2 for you. Some of these are going to sound familiar because I just read them. So, the second book I have is Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. This is about Malachi and Olivia, who are both adopted separately. They're not related, blood related. Olivia is adopted by this family first, and then Malachi is adopted a year or 2 later. When Olivia is adopted, she was like 4. And I think when this starts out, she's like 5 or 6. And she doesn't remember her past life with her birth parents, which was very traumatic. But Malachi does. I think he's 7 or 8ish when they adopt him. When the book starts out, they're at the airport. They are picking up Malachi, and he comes off the plane, and Olivia notices that he's not talking. He's using his hands, and she doesn't understand what he's doing. Well, because of his trauma, he doesn't speak. So he's mute, and it's a selective mute, but it's because of his trauma. But then he doesn't remember how to speak. And so she's asking him questions, but he keeps doing this sign, and the sign is mine, is what he keeps doing. So he's claimed Olivia to be his. And then we see them as teenagers. Things have progressed. He has a very unhealthy obsession with his little sister. And then things go when they're in high school and outside of high school. And so very taboo, but very, very dark. Malachi is very disturbed, and they both like a little bit of pain with their pleasure. If you get my drift there. Okay. So there's that one. Then I have Better Run by Alina May. So this is about Jaden, Cole, and Mary Jo. So this is a menage. And Mary Jo has been stalked, and now that she gets abducted by Cole, and there's reasons behind it. We don't find out till, we're really into the book why he takes her, but he takes her, and he takes her to a remote cabin in the middle of nowhere where it's snowing and it's winter. Hey, look, Christmas vibes. And they're stuck at this cabin. He takes her shoes, so she can't run. And if she does, she gets her feet all cut up. She has barely any clothes again. So if she runs, she can't survive. And then his buddy shows up. And that would be Jaden. No, Cole's the buddy. Jaden's the guy who originally takes her. Sorry. His buddy shows up, and his buddy's like, what are we doing? Okay, I'm in. And he has trauma of his own. So I can't tell you much more because it gives away too much of the book. So very, very good. These were all 5 stars, by the way, for me. All of these. Okay. Then done this one. So those are 3, right? So far? Yes. Okay. Then I have Taken by Natasha Knight. So this one is just so hard to explain without giving away too much. But this is about the Scafoni brothers. And we have the eldest. And the Scafoni family has an alliance with the Willow family. Not necessarily an alliance, but they have an agreement. The Willow girls, every generation, a set of quadruplets are born, as they're known as the Willow quadruplets. And our heroine is one of these girls. So out of the 4 sisters, she is the only one who is not blonde and not perfect in body shape. And these girls are supposed to keep themselves pure because I think it's around their 21st birthday, maybe their 18th birthday. The oldest of the Scafoni boys comes from their little island in Italy to where these girls live, and he gets to choose one of these girls to be his whipping girl for a handful of years. And I think it's for a full year. And then they get passed down to the brothers after that. So he gets first dibs. Then that girl will be passed down to the younger brother, then the younger brother. And it has something to do with a curse or something on the family. And this is the way they made it right for the family. And so for every generation, this has happened. So you have our heroine, who is one of these girls. Now, they're supposed to keep themselves pure, but she was like, screw that. So she is standing in this like almost see-through gown on this little stool thing that these girls have to stand on with her sisters, but hers has a red slash of paint across it to prove that she's not a virgin anymore and to show him that. But she's the one that he chooses. And he takes her to his little island, and she's remote, and she has to be the Willow whipping girl. Now, she's seen her aunt go through this, And she's heard the stories that have been passed down through the generations. The women that come back after being on their island for however amount of time are never the same, and they've lost their minds by the time they're home. Her aunt is out of her mind, so they help take care of her, so she knows what's in store for her in her future, and it doesn't look good. So yeah. Okay. This is obvious. So just so you guys know, this is one of the very first romances that I read that wasn't like fan fiction. This was it. This is one of the this was the first thing I picked up, and I was like, what? Ooh. So I didn't just dip my toes into dark. I jumped into the dark, into the deep end. So, you know. Okay. Now, let's talk about this one. Hitch by Lauren Beale. Now, Lauren Beale writes darker. I didn't go crazy with you. I'm not making you read Captive or anything. I am asking you to read Hitched. So this is going to be on your list. So this is about Lex and Selena. So Lex has just escaped the state penitentiary. He is a murderer. He is not somebody you want on the streets, but it is pouring down rain. He's walking, on the side of the road, trying to get picked up, hoping that the prison hasn't figured out that he escaped yet. And he's hitchhiking. And he's thinking, his inner monologue is saying, you guys are stupid if you pull over to pick me up. And then you have Selena, who sees him hitchhiking, and she pulls over. Now, she is escaping. She's going somewhere. She's trying to get away from somebody. And she sees him. And for whatever reason, she pulls over. And he opens the door or the window or something. And she's talking to him. And he's about to get in the car. And the minute he gets in the car, she realizes her mistake. She thinks maybe I shouldn't have picked him up. And she tries to leave. And that's when he pulls out a weapon and is like, nope. I'm in this with you and you are mine. So he's not a good guy. And it's very dark. And the things that go on are very dark. But it started my Lauren Beale obsession. Nobody can write dark like Lauren Beale. By my last one. And I know that this one's coming. You have to know that this one's coming. Fear Me, Love Me by Lilith Vincent.
Oh.
So the story is based off The Labyrinth, especially off of the character of Jareth in the movie The Labyrinth. This is about Tyrant, Mercer, and Vivienne. And this book is told we see the present, then the middle of it is the past and how they met and the things that happened, and then we jump back to the present. So it does jump. It didn't bother me. I know it's bothered some. I loved it. It did not bother me. Knowing that going into it, I knew that I would get their story. Because if you just go into it not knowing, you're like, wait, did I miss something? But if you know that you're going to get it eventually, then I think you're okay. So Vivienne's father owes Tyrant money. Tyrant runs their town. There's all these stories about him. He's absolutely crazy. So because her father owed him money, Tyrant came to their house one day and kidnapped her baby brother, or took the baby brother from the parents. The parents were awake. It wasn't like that. I'm taking your baby as collateral. Vivienne, being the loving older sister who's in college, was like, and treated very poorly by her mom, her stepmom, and her dad, was like, I'm going to get my baby brother. And so she goes to get it from Tyrant, and Tyrant's like, well, I think I'm going to keep both of you. But she ends up getting away. There's a maze, like a labyrinth, like in the labyrinth. This guy is crazy, and he's all about breeding her, by the way. So this one, love this book. Again, it'll be one of my top reads of the year too. I can guarantee that. So there are your 6.
Okay.
What are you going to read?
I don't know. I have it narrowed down to 4.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
So, Little Stranger sounded good. Mm-hmm. You've talked about that. Mm-hmm. Better Run sounded good. Mm-hmm. You've talked a lot about Hitched. So then when you said that, I was like, ooh, that one. And then also Fear Me, Love Me.
Yeah. So as far as length of these books, they're all roughly the same length. They're all, they're not very long books. We're talking less than 300 pages for each book, I'm going to say. They were all easy reads. They were all good, obviously.
Out of those 4, which was your favorite? Oh, Fear Me, Love Me.
Yeah.
Okay. I've read...
I mean, they're all pretty equal. Fear Me, Love Me is obviously my favorite. But as far as like, and then I would say Hitched, and then Better Run and Little Stranger are probably tied.
I think I'll do Hitched because I have yet to read Lauren Beale. I've read A Lilith Fences, so I'll do Hitched.
Okay, cool. I'm excited for you to read Hitched because it starts off a whole series of interconnected standalones. So, okay. Yay. Okay, so we will be back and we will see if Mandy still loves me and if she can, if she's scared for me after she gets done reading this. Okay, Mandy. So you read Hitched. What did you think? Are you? Am I going to be committed this week? That's what I need to know.
Okay, so it's definitely a wild ride. I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it quite to your level. I rated it a 4.
Okay.
Or I will be rating it a 4, I guess you should say. For me, it was a 4.
Okay.
I think it was a 5 for you.
Yeah, I loved it. But I love that dark, weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but like, there's just some weird things in it.
I am a huge fan of Lauren Beale. I love her weird. I love her dark. I love her crazy characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did, and I enjoyed it. I would definitely read more by her.
It gets way worse. But I'm glad you liked it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a good starting point.
What? Sorry.
It's a good starting point for her. She does have some of her earlier stuff that isn't as dark. And then she has some stuff that's way crazy and way out there, like Captive. But I think if you're like that in her Men of Vengeance, and she has a Mafia duet that I want to read as well. That was one of her first 2 books that she ever wrote. And those are a little more tame.
Yeah. So I think if you were looking for a more traditional romance with dark elements, this would not be the way to go. This is pretty much dark from page 1 through the whole end. There isn't really like this enlightening moment in the book, where some books have dark elements and then like things kind of change around. So if you're looking for more of that sort of romance, this would not be the book for you. But I think if you go into this book knowing it's kind of wild and it's dark, you can definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, just check your triggers first.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Because it's dark. And when I say dark, I mean dark, which is why we called this The Darkest of the Dark. So, I mean, there's darker out there, but this is pretty good. Oh, and dark is subjective. So,
yes.
Yeah. All right. So that was Hitched. That was our dark.
Okay, so make sure to leave us a comment. Do you like dark? And where do you fall in the dark? Do you like the dark? Do you like more traditional romance with some dark elements? Where do you fall? Just let us know what your thoughts are on dark romances. And if there's a dark romance out there that you haven't heard us talk about it, put it in the comments so we can check it out. Jessica would love that. Yes. Although both of our TBRs are so long, there's a good chance it's already on there, but bring it back up so we know we want to get to it again sooner. And then make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and new videos from us. And then also on Wednesdays through the rest of 2023 for Romance School 101.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.